The Deming of America. He helped save Japan. Can he now help America?
Economists have led us down the wrong road. They've taught us adversarial competition is a solution. It is not.
I was raised in Japan, so Dr. Deming's name is next to God.
You have to recognize my aim in life, and that is to help Dr. Deming be known for turning America around, not just Japan.
Our quality does not stand up. Not many years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, this country made half the manufactured product of the world.
If it were impossible to do in the United States, why are Japanese firms who operate here doing it with American workers? American workers are the most fun, creative, entrepreneurial workers in the world. We can eat anybody's lunch.
I think that Dr. Deming has had a major impact on the United States. I suspect he will say, where were you when I got started with all this stuff 40 or 50 years ago, and we weren't in tune at that time.
Quality is made at the top.
He makes it very clear that if you don't have quality at the top of an organization, you're never going to have it anywhere else in the organization.
People not working hard. If it's not working hard, it's because of the management.
American business can compete, but we have to make a lot of changes, and we have to understand that it's continuous.
All they ask is a chance to do a good job, to take pride in their job, and to be proud of the company.
Most of the really big changes that have occurred in business have come out of survival instinct.
We had a survival problem at Xerox in the early 80s. When I became the CEO in 1982, I didn't talk about it a lot, but I was really concerned that Xerox would be able to survive the 80s.
You can't settle for, we can't do it. We can do it. We must do it.
I think he will be remembered for having restored American competitiveness.
I'm Priscilla Petty. Dr. W. Edwards Deming and a number of America's top corporate leaders warn us that America faces a crisis. We need to change the way we manage our businesses and our schools, or we will decline as a nation. Deming is the man who changed the Japanese thinking about management after World War II. You'll see how the heads of Xerox, Procter & Gamble, GE Aircraft Engines, Ford, and General Motors are now changing their businesses because of Dr. Deming's theories. Why are this country's most successful business leaders listening to Deming's ideas now, when we were unwilling to listen back in the 50s? We need it now. We're in a global economy, and we have to compete with the best in the world, including today's formidable Japanese. Now, everyone's heard of the Japanese miracle, but not everyone knows the part that W. Edwards Deming, an American, played in that miraculous recovery. It was more than 40 years ago when this PhD statistician began to work with the Japanese. And to fully appreciate what he did, to understand the magnitude of their recovery, we need to look back.
Japan, 1946. World War II had left the country devastated. The once mighty industrial complex which had sustained their war machine was leveled to the ground. Their god emperor, Hirohito, now walked among them along the bombed-out streets as a mortal. In pre-war Japan, it was forbidden for ordinary citizens even to look on his face. With their basic beliefs shaken to the core, their leaders on trial for war crimes, their country devastated, and their factories in ruins, the Japanese people were at a turning point. Out of the ruins, they began to produce again. With typical Japanese ingenuity, they rose like a phoenix from the ashes, proving that they could even produce toys from the beer cans discarded by American GIs. Pre-war Japan had never had a reputation for quality. The words "made in Japan" were an international joke, standing for inferior quality, the toys that soon broke. They were at the bottom, with no way to go but up. If they were to escape their image as the makers of cheap toys, if the rising sun were to rise again, they knew they would have to change. The Japanese had experienced the quality of America's war machines firsthand in the skies over the Pacific. They knew that a noted Bell Laboratories physicist, Walter Shewhart, had helped guide America's wartime quality control effort. And One of his disciples was an American statistician, W. Edwards Deming. They also knew that Deming was already in Japan, having been assigned to work with them on their post-war census. Kenichi Koyanagi, managing director of the Union of Japanese Scientists and Engineers, invited Dr. Deming to lecture on his theories of management and quality improvement to a group of leading Japanese industrialists. Deming became more than a consultant. He was their guru. Between 1950 and 1960, over 20,000 Japanese had been trained in statistical methods.
I did not export American practice. I took to them new knowledge, philosophy of management, theory of management, which is optimization of a system whereby everybody gains. Everybody gains.
Dr. Deming taught the Japanese a new way to think about management. Focus on the customer, he said. Commit to continual improvement in quality. Measure your improvement using some simple statistical tools. Recognize that people make it happen. And realize that everything you do within a system in which each part affects the whole. And, says Dr. Deming, top management is responsible for that system.
A Japanese man, executive or otherwise, is never too old or too successful to learn. He's eager to learn and to listen.
And
It's
so,
not hard for him to change because he understands the system, that he is part of a system, and the job is to optimize the system.
Unlike the Japanese, we had been too busy and too successful to listen to Dr. W. Edwards Deming and his ideas about management and quality improvement. While our industries were coasting, Japan was rocketing into the 21st century on their bullet train. And by 1980, they had even surpassed Detroit for the first time, producing 11 million automobiles. Dr. Deming had told the Japanese they could turn things around in 5 years. They listened, and the rest is history. The Japanese have a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. At Ford, the student was ready. Donald Peterson, then president of Ford Motor Company, called Dr. Deming for a meeting.
The one stipulation that Dr. Deming had was that, in fact, I would be the one that would meet him, not someone down in the organization.
that's it.
And he explained that when we did get together, he explained that to me by explaining how disappointed he was in his inability to get the leaders in America back in the 40s and early 50s to understand the importance of putting quality as the number one priority in your business. And how that in turn caused him to insist the Japanese bring together their top people from their major companies if he was going to go over there and try to be of assistance. And then how he saw that involvement by the top people become the real key to achieving rapid improvement in Japan, and therefore just certified in his mind, I think, that you simply must have total commitment to quality from the top of an organization if you're going to make any headway.
At 90, Dr. Deming still conducts 4-day seminars, teaches at New York University, and consults. He's been described as a combination oracle, genius, and curmudgeon because he thunders and mutters, and he doesn't give you simple answers. His answers are designed to make you think and rethink, to give you insight, but not a quick solution.
It's only management that breaks out of the system that makes impact.
Now, wait a minute. You say management that breaks out
Breaks
of
out of the system.
Tell me what you mean.
Optimizing the system, for example, instead of doing it the way we've always done it, to do what is best for the whole system.
Could we talk about optimization?
An orchestra is an example that most people can understand. A system. Everybody there is supporting all the other players. 140-piece orchestra. Everybody supports the other 139. He's not there to play a solo. He's not to play as loud as he can play to attract attention. He's there to support the other 139. And the job of the conductor is to optimize their talents, their abilities.
The great majority, 85, 90, 95% of the output of any system is a result of that system, not the result of people. Managers tend to blame people, and it's not the case. They should not blame people. They should blame themselves because they created the system, and only they can improve upon those systems.
Ever heard of a bank that failed?
Yes.
Do you think it failed because of mistakes, sluggishness at the teller's windows, mistakes in calculation of interest, mistakes in bank statements? Don't be silly. All that could go off without blemish. And the bank would fail.
And the bank
Purely
fails.
matter of management. The manager is a leader, should be. He understands how he, his work, and the work of his people fit into the system for optimization of the system. That's the first job of a leader. You try to recognize that all people are different. Try to fit each one into what he can do best, what he takes joy in doing, and help him to improve.